The goal we chose was to find a way to help decrease the rate at which honeybees are dying. We selected this goal because for much of the past 10 years, beekeepers, primarily in the United States and Europe, have been reporting annual hive losses of 30% or higher, substantially more than is considered normal or sustainable. If something isn't done to manage declines in bee populations, we can expect a negative impact agriculturally and ecologically. The U.S. honey-producing colonies have dropped from a population of 5.5 million in 1950 to 2.5 million in 2007. Already hundreds of bee species have become extinct within the past 10 years. U.S. national agriculture statistics show a honeybee decline from about 6 million hives in 1947 to 2.4 million hives in 2008, a 60% reduction. Honeybees are arguably our most important commercially available pollinator. They are responsible for pollinating numerous food plants that make our diets more exciting and nutritious, including many fruits, vegetables, and nuts. Globally, there are more honeybees than other types of bee and pollinating insects, so it is the world's most important pollinator of food crops. It is estimated that 1/3 of the food that we consume each day relies on pollination mainly by bees, but also by other insects, birds, and bats. The entryway to the hive will be kept between 104 and 106 degrees Fahrenheit, which is above the temperature the mites can withstand. The bees will remain in the entryway for about an hour in order to make sure that the mites are dead before the bees enter the actual hive.
Currently, there are insecticides used that only infect the mice, but with insecticides, they can still get into the honey that we eat. There are also hives with small holes as the entrances, and the holes are coated with the insecticide that targets the mites. So when the bees pass through the hive, the insecticide will ultimately kill off the mite before they enter the hive. It has been known for several decades that the parasitic mite varroa destructor is very sensitive to increased temperatures. At temperatures just a few degrees higher than the optimum, the mite is no longer able to reproduce. Long-term exposure to temperatures above 38 degrees Celsius cause irreversible damage, and temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius destroy the mite completely. Our solution to the honeybee mite problem was to create a heated entrance to the hive. So instead of going straight into the hives, first the bees would have to enter through a heated passageway, which would allow for the mites to be killed off before the bees entered the hive. In order to do this accurately, we need to understand the climate control needed to keep the entrance of the hive between 104 and 106 degrees Fahrenheit. We also need to understand the temperatures the bee can stand versus the mites. To ensure the safety of the bees upon exiting the hive, each bee will be tagged with a tiny medicine will release mite repellent that protects bees for 3 months.
Each medication capsule is detectable by the sensors in the hive's entrance and will keep the bee from being tagged a second time. The science and math behind this beehive are the calculations put forth to find the appropriate temperature that the bees can stand but will kill off the mites. There will have to be some trial and error to conduct the perfect amount of heat. The hive will require the use of science to create a medicine that will successfully repel the varroa mites. In order to create a tagging system, science and math are needed to assist in the development of a prototype that accurately detects when a bee has previously been tagged. The current solutions that exist only work once the varroa mite has already infected a beehive. Heated hives are helpful, but they do not keep the varroa mite from entering the hive and is not guaranteed to kill the varroa mites off completely. The current solutions only focus on one way to fight off varroa mites. The reason our solution is unique is that it focuses on more than one way to protect the bees from the varroa mites. The bees will be tagged with a repellent on their way out of the hive, but as a backup, the hive will be heated to ensure that any mites that may get in are killed by the higher temperatures.